Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Interviews, and we're back to talk more comics. And today we're going to be talking about Avengers of the Wastelands #1. I'm talking about this because I have been a big fan of Old Man Logan, Old Man Quill, Old Man Hawkeye. I really like Dead Man Logan as well. And I've just loved all the Wasteland stories quite a bit. And I know that not a lot of people really, I haven't looked it up, but I haven't noticed a lot of people talking about this series. And maybe I'm alone in liking this series. I don't know. But I've seriously loved the Wasteland storyline. It's a nice kind of Marvel Elseworlds kind of story. Kind of like what I feel about like uh, symbiote Spider-Man alien reality. It's a interesting, nice little take where we don't have to take it so seriously because it's not from our universe, even though some things can be brought over from the multiverse to our world, kind of like how Old Man Logan was in general. I also really like Ed Brisson's writing in these stories. Now, he didn't do Old Man Quill. That was Ethan Sachs. But he was the big part of Old Man Logan's final part and Dead Man Logan, that whole series. And I felt like he was the right person. I really liked how he handled it. I thought that he brought just enough funniness, enough lightheartedness, but also brought it when it was serious. Because Old Man Logan was very serious. There was almost no upside to it. But in stories like Dead Man Logan, there were moments of levity and hope and happiness and fun, even though it was his last hurrah. I thought he handled those books really, really well. I have not liked everything he's done. I do think that not every writer is as good as I might like them on one book. I might not like them as much on another. I mean, case in point is New Mutants. But that for me is more like the art in that and in the Brisson books for New Mutants really damages that book, less so the writing. Even though some of those characters that Ed's trying to write for, he wrote for an Old Man Logan, so he kind of gets those characters a little bit more. But we're not here to talk about New Mutants. We're here to talk about Avengers of the Wastelands. So before I get too far off track, so did he do a good job here? And I think he did because he's writing for characters that he's been uh, more comfortable with. He did them all for Dead Man Logan. And I think it shows. Now, the art by Jonas Scharf in this book is okay. It reminds me a little bit of Eric Larson. I'll show you an example of that right now. If you guys know any Eric Larson, he took over for Todd McFarlane on Amazing Spider-Man. He's done Savage Dragon all these years. But there's like some of these pictures, if you don't really notice here, but like that right there really to me looks a lot like something Eric Larson would draw, especially in the face. A lot of like, if you look around the mouth of like her, a lot of that looks like Eric Larson to me. Some of it doesn't, but it's not a bad thing. I mean, people take from other artists just like directors steal from, directors of movies. And like even like parts like this, like if you look at some of that, that makes me really think of like Eric Larson a little bit and maybe even a little bit of Mark Bagley in there. But to give like this book a grade, I dig it. There's a few things that I don't particularly like, and I hope we don't run into too many things like this. Mostly the one thing I don't like is that Ant-Man is just a guy. Like, if he's the only guy, right? If he's just the only guy, like that, I'm just a guy wearing an Ant-Man suit, fine. I don't want to see any more just guys who picked up anybody else's like there's a situation near the end of this book where I'm like, please don't let this just be some guy, but I have a feeling it might be. And if you're gonna do just some guy, do it like Galaxy Quest, man. Just put Sam Rockwell in here and just call him like just hey guy. With I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I just don't want just generic characters because Dani, Cage is a legit character. She's the daughter of Luke Cage. And Jessica Jones. And you've got, Bruce Banner's kid here. So they're legit. So to just kind of throw in this guy as Ant-Man is a little underwhelming. Now, he is an established character in Dead Man Logan. He's one of the survivors of that book. And so, yeah, he's a familiar face, but honestly, I couldn't give more of a shit about this character. But is the story any good? Well, they make a point to tell you in the beginning of this that these events take place after Old Man Logan, after Old Man Quill, and after Dead Man Logan. Well, you'd have to, because Dead Man Logan is dead. But that means these don't take place before Old Man Hawkeye. I think they would have put that in here. And if you haven't read Old Man Hawkeye yet, either pick up the trades or whatever, because that's another fucking awesome book. So we start off this book with Ant-Man on the run, and he stopped, like he's on the run and he's remembering being confronted by Doctor Doom, who's still running things. And, he's telling him, like, you failed them all. You were supposed to lead them, and now look at you. And he's basically just running for his life. Now, at this point, I couldn't really tell who he was. I thought maybe Ant-Man was the kind of character who would escape the attack by all the villains in Old Man Logan's universe. But we get to this Ultron. And if you've read any of the other books, there was an Ultron that was like, he became good. He was reprogrammed and he was a good guy. He helped out several characters in the Wastelands storyline. But in this, he's found by Doom, and Doom snuffs him out and rips him apart and just has his head there. And we see that 2 years has passed since since Old Man Logan died. And Bruce and Dani are out, raising crops, doing the farmer's life, and she's still Thor. At the end of the second to last issue of Dead Man Logan, she picked up Thor's hammer and became Thor. So not only is she the daughter of Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, but she's the new Thor. It's pretty cool. I really dug it. In fact, I felt like we needed a real hero, and since her lineage already has kind of superhero status, to actually become a full-on Thor is pretty badass. And I like it because they need rain, and so she's able to do it and help raise the crops. Plus, Bruce is working on the crops, so it shows that he's intelligent, even if he is kind of a child still. Like knowing that the crops needed rain, and he's talking about all that. But this is where they find out that this guy Dwight is back. He is a survivor of the fight near the end of Old Dead Man Logan, with Forge. Forge had a whole facility that got trashed, and they thought everybody died there when Doom's forces came, but they actually survived for a little while because they spent 2 years rebuilding everything, getting everything worked out, and then Doom just came and wipes everything out. Like, he just takes it all out, and he didn't even have he went to get the Ant-Man suit and it didn't work. He tried everything, but now he's on the run. And he's there to ask for help because he can't do it on his own. And they're trying to tell him, it's kind of like Old Man Logan's story, where he's like, my fighting days are over. We're trying to rebuild. This is the story in a lot of the Wasteland stories. People just trying to move on or trying to get revenge. And in this case, it's a little bit of Old Man Hawkeye, where he's out to take out the people that hurt his people. And Dani and Banner have end up coming along the way because Doom doesn't really give them a choice. Doom preemptively had followed him and now is attacking everything. But if you think that's Doom, I got a bridge to sell you, right? So, because of course, they attack, and it's a fun little fight, but it's way too easy, right? It's issue 1. And so they're taking things down. Hulk's jumping up. I don't know how I feel about that perspective of Hulk jumping on this plane that's like, you see these planes up here, right? They look pretty big, but over here it looks like they're small, and he just kind of slams into it. So I don't know if that was, some of them are smaller or what, but I don't know if I really care for that perspective. But we get a cool splash page. Dani comes and just, oops, there goes the camera again. It smashes Doom up. It's way too easy. And, she realizes it's a Doom bot and just crushes him. But it's that fight. It's that first spark to get the fight going. Because he's like, your destruction is assured. Doom shall not let the disrespect stand. And she's like, that was not Doom. It was one of his Doom bots. And even Ant-Man's like, oh, that's why this was so easy. And so they're trying to come up with a plan what to do next. And she says, you were correct earlier. Violence unchecked will only spread. Logan had assured us Logan had assured us of such, and I was a fool to forget in the 2 years since we laid him to rest. Tell me though, where do we find Doom? Is he still in New Babylon? And they're talking about what they're gonna do, and all of a sudden one of the guys comes rushing up like, like the guy at the end of Die Hard. I'm gonna kill you assholes! And all of a sudden he gets hit with this like out of nowhere with a big old thwang. And to be honest with you, I had no idea who it was, but I was like going, please be Old Man Hawkeye, please be Old Man Hawkeye, but it doesn't make sense that it's Old Man Hawkeye. And it's not Old Man Hawkeye. It's the other thing I'm concerned about. It's a guy dressed up like Captain America. Now, it's cool to see Captain America and then possibly maybe the real Shield there. I don't know. We get the preview for the cover of the next issue, which I like that cover. I like all those covers, man. They got that old West feel. My problem is, if this is just another guy who just happened to find Captain America's shield in costume, maybe with the red skull, uh, okay, make this somebody, make this anybody. I don't care if it's not even a superhero. Just make it a character that we know. Um, just like in, like the Star Wars universe, right? Even after all the Jedi were supposedly killed, they keep finding them for whatever story purpose. They just pull one here and pull one there. They can do the same thing for the superheroes, okay? Frank Castle didn't die in the Wastelands until just recently in Old Man Logan Annual #1. So just find somebody, anybody. I don't care. I don't care if it's U.S. agent. Okay, I don't care if it's that guy. Just make it somebody. But otherwise, pretty good start for the book. I really enjoyed it. And like I said, other than those few things, I feel like this book is pretty good, pretty interesting. I don't know how long it's going to go on. It didn't say if it was book one of blank. Some of the other ones have. It's probably, I would say this is probably a 10 or 12 issue book. But if you're on the fence about reading it, this is pretty decent, even though I feel like this cover is, like, especially this, Avengers of the Wastelands, just, it feels kind of, like, dumb, lame looking, but what are you going to do? Don't judge a book by its cover, I guess. And I didn't, and I got it just because I'm all in on the Wasteland storylines. And like I said, I do think Brisson did a pretty good job. I do think that Jonas Sharp's art is all right. And yeah, I recommend this book. I don't recommend this book like I would like X-Men #5 or anything, but I mean, it's pretty good. It's a lot of fun. It's one. Sometimes you just need a book to just sit and chill and read and enjoy and not, have to go, oh my God, like, what are the ramifications of this book going to be for the Marvel Universe? You can just enjoy a simple story that has a beginning and an end, and, hopefully it sticks to landing. So, if you like this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications, all that jazz. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at reviews_gun. Otherwise, this is Rob at Smirking Gun Reviews saying keep reading comics, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye. If I can hit stop.